Alright, we're back for what will hopefully be the final episode of the Tampa Bay Be a GM mode, where we'll be taking on Toronto in the first round of the playoffs. We're up 1-0 going into the third, and that's the score we're going to win by. We do put 36 shots on net. However, we are only able to get one past James Reimer, who's in the net for them, as Jonathan Bernier left the team via free agency in the past offseason. So, Tyler Johnson's first period tally is all that Tampa Bay needs, as Ivar Spinonov delivers with a shutout in the playoffs. Now, this is his second playoff run with us, I believe, as his first playoff run was last year, and we lost in the second round to Ben Bishop and the Buffalo Sabres. It's a lot of alliteration right there. As you can see, in real life, Ben Bishop did recently sign another extension with Tampa Bay for a good amount of money. Not a lot for a goalie, but a fair amount considering the season he just had. I believe it's a lot less than he's actually worth. He's probably like an $8 million goalie, I think. But then again, Henrik Lundqvist is like the highest paid, and he's making like 9.26, and he's not the best goalie in the NHL. So he's up there, but he's not the best. We're up 1-0 again, and we win 3-0 after a 2-goal third period, including an empty netter. So the Toronto Maple Leafs have been stymied by the Tampa Bay defense, as they have not found a way to score a goal yet in the playoffs. They're probably getting very frustrated. Carlisle's probably had some talks with them behind the scenes that we haven't heard about. But our team is continuing to pull out victories via depth contributions and excellent goaltending, as they've had over 40 shots on net, I believe. Let's just see, for the record, how many saves Punanovs has up to this point. Fifty-six shots against in the playoffs, and has allowed no goals. Now, I'm not saying that we can keep up this level of production, but if we can pull out solid wins... Okay, it ended. Never mind. Alright, so I want to win this game, so we will have a commanding lead. Jesus Christ. Third period. Dmitry Korovov scored a goal. That was not the result I expected from that game on either side, because I didn't think that we were going to give up that many goals to Toronto, but they're still on only a 1-goal-a-game pace, even though they scored all their goals in this game. So, we won 7-3 anyway. Even when they score enough goals to win, they don't stop goal scoring, so they can have an opportunity to win. Let's see who had all the points in that game. Stamkos had 3 assists. Everyone else was a very solid depth contribution, as I was saying before. You know, Pal was a -2. Alright. We're up 3-0. Now, from my experience with GM modes in the past, in the last 2 years of NHL, because it's all I've really played GM mode in, is that whenever you're up 3-0 in a playoff series, this game loves to find ways for you to lose. So let's see if that's the case here. No, we swept the Toronto Maple Leafs. So we'll look at the player stats for this series, even though, again, James Reimer had a pretty good series outside of that Game 3. The defense gave up a lot of shots, but we only scored 2 goals on 39 shots. We should have scored at least 3, probably 4 goals with that much, especially considering our offense. So let's look at the player stats to see who has a lot of points this round. In 4 games, I believe, Stamkos was well over a point a game. I don't know really about anyone else, though. Actually, he was just at a point a game. Kucherov was as well. Carter was right there. Drouin, Broussard had 2 points. So did Johnson. Earn had 2 points. So everyone had 2 points except for Gudas, Hedman. Hedman had none. That's interesting. Barbario and Pallet only had 1. Hedman didn't have any points. He was on the top pairing defense. Oh well. He's more of the defensive dude anyway for our team. So we're going to sim through the next week as we head a sweep, so we don't have to play games 5, 6, or 7, but the rest of the league might and probably will. So we're going to have to sim through all these extra days because of it. and figure out who we're going to play in the next round, assuming another day. And it's going to be the Montreal Canadiens. Carey Price was the best goaltender in the league each of the last 2 years. So let's see if we can pull out a victory here. We're up 1-0, and we win 4-0. 3 of those were attributed to Price. Broussard and Carter scored as their second line, putting in work that game. As the Blue Jays were losing to the Astros. Toronto just not having any luck. Well, I guess the whole country of Canada. On this day of recording. So, Game 2. We're still in the Forum. We're tied 2-2 and 3-3 now going into overtime. Let's try and pull out this victory here. Oh, we didn't. Alright, so they actually probably have the advantage as we're going back to Central Bell. With a tie series, and if it bodes well to real life, when they were up 2-0 headed back to Central Bell, we're going to lose both of these games probably. And if that happens, I don't know what I'm going to say. We're up 1-0, we're up 2-0. Of course, they find a way to come back and tie it in the third period. Let's see, is Tampa Bay going to completely choke? They kill a penalty, and they score a goal. Adam Earns scores on Carey Price, and we are up 2-1. The next game is in the Canadiens venue, so we're probably going to have to actually play if we want to take advantage in this series. Making good time on this, too. Keep it a short, concise finale. We'll do a little wrap-up at the end of this once we win the Stanley Cup, too. Alright, they're up 1-0, and they win 2-0, shutting out our offense. So we're headed back to Tampa Bay. If we lose this game, we're probably toasting the series. It's not entirely confirmed, but it's just what I think will happen, based on past events and experiences with this game. It's 2-2 series, though. Could be worse. We could be down 3-1, which I expected to happen. And we're up 2-1, and we win 2-1. So we're headed back to Center Bell again. Didn't even try the accent that time. Funny, because French is actually my native language. I didn't learn English until I turned 4, but I've completely lost my accent and forgot basically all of the French I used to know. We're back in the Bell Center now. I'm not even going to try and refer to it by its native name. We're up 1-0. We're down 3-1, and we lose 3-1. So we'll be heading into Game 7. I know this is like the most nonchalant, like, we lost the game, But compared to some of the other, I noticed like these other NHL BGM modes, like Superbman and Target Audience, the main two I can think of, where they always get irritated when they lose, and I'm not like that. We're just, it's a tough series. Actually going to save game right here. So I don't lose this in a tight situation. Oh wait, whoops, I clicked save and exit. Alright, this will be cut. No, I didn't want to click new. Alright, so we're back for Game 7 now in the Tampa Bay Times Forum. We're up 2-0. We're down 3-2. We're tied 3-3 going into overtime. Let's hope we can win this. Come on. Power play for them. Kill that. Okay, we did. Kill it again. Alright, now take advantage. No. Damn it. That was a 5-on-3, did it say? We didn't take advantage? Oh, we won. Okay. We won the series, so we're moving on to round 3. Hopefully it's not the Buffalo Sabres, because I feel like we'll lose if it is, just because of Patrick Kane and Ben Bishop wanting vengeance against us. Yeah, no one really took control of that game. Actually, Kucherov had 3 points. Did nothing in overtime. He had 3 points on the non-overtime goal. Oh, we're taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. This is an original one. I've never really seen them in the playoffs even. So it looks like they got some guy, Sekera. Let's look at him quick. Let's look at their roster. I didn't look at the Canadiens roster because we've seen it plenty of times. It's stayed pretty much the same. Who's this? Sekera. Oh. He's a defenseman. Never heard of him before. He actually had a solid year. First year of this franchise. Be a GM. Minus this season. Oh, so they've actually made the playoffs every year. No, they didn't make the playoffs the second year of this. No way they'd really make the playoffs. This team actually is pretty much the same. Sorry for wasting your time. Alright. Sim first game, probably win this. This is Carolina. It shouldn't be too hard to beat. I say as we're down. Okay, we tied it. Or actually, we took the lead there. Oh, Matt Carl's on Carolina now. Oh, that's the wrong Matt Carl. It's tight. That's Matthew Carl, not Matt Carl. That I'm thinking of. That we traded away in Season 2 to acquire Patrick Kane, who we dealt later that year. Alright, so we got Stamkos, who had 3 points in that game, pretty much. Took charge. Hopefully not all wins are going to be that difficult. It's only Carolina. I understand that they're a little bit better of a team, but Cam Ward is still their goalie, and he's still not that great, so we should be able to beat him. Although he has been very stellar in the playoffs in recent memory. We're taking it into overtime now. Worst thing we can do here is let them win, because then we'll go into Carolina, and they'll have the advantage. We won. Okay, so now we're up 2-0. Thinking sweep again. Should be easy. Even though we had a little bit of struggle against Carolina, we've beaten them both times, showing that we can come out ahead. And Punanov's been a beast. Our defense has not been able to stop anything. We gave up 49 shots that game. Alright, tied. Alright, we're up 1-0, and we let them tie it in the third period. So we're taking it in overtime, and we win almost immediately. within 4 minutes, actually. Jonathan Drouin nets one to seal the deal for Tampa Bay. So it looks ever so inevitable that we'll be headed back to the Stanley Cup Finals. I don't know who we'll be taking on in said Stanley Cup Finals if we do make it, because I've not been paying any attention to the playoffs in the West. Scout assignment. Let's just throw this out to some random league. Well, I want to make, you know what, screw it, I don't care. Not like scouting's going to matter worth a crap anyway, because we're probably going to finish the series in this episode anyway. Alright, we're down 2-0. Alright, we lost Game 4. This is what I was talking about earlier with that Game 4 crap. Where you just lose Game 4 regardless of how well you actually do. And since I already showed the Stanley Cup celebration and everything in the first season, I'm literally don't know whether or not I'm going to show it this time around. I'm not too sure. Alright, we're up 1-0, we're up 2-1, and we lost 5-3. Come on. We're not really going to let the Carolina Hurricanes come back on us, are we? Why did they... See, I don't know why they pull your goalie. Like, we had it like 4-3. We should have left Punanovs in. We could have had the chance to at least make a run at a comeback, but no, they had to pull him. I don't know why you would pull him in that situation in a close game. If it was like a 5-2 game, then, or a 4-2 game, then maybe not, but... we gotta win this. If not, they have the momentum. Or we're up 3, we won 4-1. Sometimes I sim faster than I can talk. So we're going to the Stanley Cup Finals, it looks like. We had 42 shots that game and scored 4 goals. It's pretty good production. If you shoot like about 10% as a team, you're on pretty good pace. To win. Offensively, anyway, if your defense doesn't suck, and our defense is excellent. So it looks like we're taking on the Vancouver Canucks in the Stanley Cup Finals. That's what it looks like anyway. Henrik Sedin has 16 points in the playoffs, it looks like, as well. Tied 1-1. We are tied 2-2, and we're tied 3-3 after a clutch goal from Kucherov, and we won on the Grinder scoring a goal in the fourth period, the overtime period. Eddie Lack is in the net for them. Looks like he's their primary goaltender. It's good. I like Eddie Lack in real life. I think he's got a lot of potential, even though he is an older player breaking through the NHL at this point. I'm not even going to check, but it doesn't matter who's getting points as long as we're winning, because this is probably, again, the last episode of this. You're going to get sick of hearing me. It's like a broken record. I just want to reiterate that point. This series will not be continuing if we win a Stanley Cup, which is looking very likely as we just took the first 2 games against the Vancouver Canucks. We haven't had to face I don't know if it's because our team is that good, but we have not had to face any overly difficult teams this Stanley Cup. Besides Montreal was somewhat a challenge, but we've had teams that won 47 games, like the Vancouver Canucks, and they just got beat twice in a row, and then go up 3-1 in the first period. We almost made a comeback. Alright, that was expected after a while. As much crap talking as I love to do, you can't win every game. Otherwise, we would have seen more 82-0 teams at some point by now. Although I think back in the 1900s, there was a hockey team that went undefeated back when they used to play only 20 games. I don't remember if it happened, who it was, or if it even happened, because it doesn't sound like something I remember now that I've said it out loud. But in my head, I was like, oh, it's happened before. But I don't believe it has. We're up 2-1, 3-2. I'm not trusting the simulation engine. I'm going to sim through this myself. So if any bullcrap happens, I can be held responsible. Actually, we're up. Okay, that probably wasn't the best idea to quick sim after all that even, because we did end up giving up another goal. I would not think Punanovs is the MVP of this playoff run either, because he has just had games where he's given up 3 goals constantly. Even when we win by a 4-goal differential, it was that one game we only won 7-3. And I say only it's a bad thing, but that's not a great goaltending performance. We're at home, up 3-1, so let's see if we can seal this off. We're down, we're tied. We're going to do a slow sim. Oh wait, that's not very slow, is it? Shit. Alright. We'll go by 30-second differentials, so that if we get down to 39 and we're still, we should still be leading by then. I will go in, because this episode has not dragged on very long, so we'll go in with about a minute left. Be a little bit less. No, we're up 4-1. Alright, 30 seconds left. I'm going to play as Tampa Bay, just why not? See if we can get a cheapie. You still have Alex Burrows. See, you're never going to win a Stanley Cup with Alex Burrows on your top line. I'm going to go with auto shot aim. I don't play on regular controls anyway. Too much of a noob for that. After this, we'll do the series wrap-up, too. See how I did. See some key players, key seasons in this series as well. And wrap it up. This might end up being under 30 minutes, which I was not anticipating at all. Well, actually, it won't be under 30 minutes, but It'll be close to 30 minutes, probably. Mumbling again. Alright, we're taking a neutral zone face-off. So I don't even know what difficulty this is on, because I was playing with someone else the other day, and I turned it down to Pro, I think, but it's not going to matter anyway. We're already up 3-4. Oh, race them out to the edge. Alright. I didn't want to cut across the middle like that. Weird pursuit angle. Oh, he got him. Oh, there goes Drew in, carrying the puck up. Let's just try and score with him. Oh, Carter got wrecked. Oh, that was the end of the game. Alright, so we won the Stanley Cup. Second time in 4 years for the Lightning. I would continue this and try and do another cup win next year, and I don't know if you can call it a dynasty necessarily, because we did have one losing season in between that. So I wouldn't know if 3 cup wins in 5 years would be a dynasty, but I definitely would have called it that was Chicago in real life, but not in this Tampa Bay because we had a losing season in between there. But a theoretical 3 and 5 would be a dynasty, just by the sound. And okay, Petanovs didn't have that bad of stats actually. It was just some games he like shit the bed. But we won another Stanley Cup. So this series was a success, even if you don't include that fluky year 1. As for future plans, Madden will be starting up soon. As soon as the game comes out, I'll be putting out videos. Like I said earlier, probably every day I'll be making a video for Madden. What else? NHL is going to be coming out in September, and I want to do a Dallas Stars Be a GM where I do gameplay, but I'm also trying to decide what team I want to use for my simulation Be a GM, which will also be uploaded from time to time, because all I have to do for that is throw it in and render it, and it takes only a few hours, and I can do it overnight anyway. So it'll probably, when I implement my schedule in a couple weeks, when I do my channel update thing before Madden comes out, I will definitely, that's what I'm looking for. Definitely work NHL sim videos in on off days, because I only have videos scheduled for 3 days a week. Well, 5 actually, because I'll have each weekend day also occupied. Actually, I don't know about that. I don't know, I'll rethink that. But anyway, glad the series could be as successful as it was up to this point as far as team success. Views have been pretty decent as well. Not as popular as Diamondbacks franchise, but still it's got a little fan base of its own, and that satisfies me. I don't care about your EA pucks. We're going to leave this. We are going to check playoff stats, and then we're going to do kind of a series wrap-up type of thing where we just analyze each year, analyze some of the players and stuff, trades that I made that really helped us out, acquisitions that were made that were really helpful to the team in the long run. So I'm going to send them to the next day. Outstanding job this year. Bringing home the Stanley Cup is something every owner dreams about. I knew you could do it. On behalf of the Tampa Bay Lightning organization, thanks for all your hard work. So technically we're in the off-season right now. Let's look at the playoff tree in the NHL. The AHL, I know we lost the first round. So in the West, it was this. It looks like Vancouver went 7 games in each to the first series, then swept St. Louis. So they were hot coming into the finals. They performed in big moments. St. Louis only played 15 games in the playoffs total. We had to win 16 games to win the Stanley Cup, and they only had to play 15 games. They got swept in the finals after sweeping. They played 7 against Chicago, but swept Nashville in the first round. That was the East. Second round, both games. Series went to 7 games. Edmonton's finally getting up there. And then over here, it looks like Carolina beat Buffalo 4 games to 3 in the first round. Rangers swept Penguins, and Montreal pretty much handed it to the Florida Panthers. So if it wasn't for that Carolina-Buffalo series, the Eastern Conference playoffs would have actually been very short in the first round this year. And Carolina actually beat the Rangers 4 games too, so it looks like they were kind of like the dark horse team this year, even though they were the top seed. So I guess they weren't really a dark horse team, but they were very surprising to see in the Stanley Cup Finals. And then, as you can obviously see, that was us in the finals, winning against the Vancouver Canucks. Player stats for the playoffs. I want to look at Punanov's because it looked like he had bad series, but when he won the Conn Smythe, his stats were actually decent. So yeah, 1.77, 15 and 6, 39 total goals against, which is good. 5 shutouts in the playoffs. See, that's another thing though. We won 5 of those games because he didn't allow goals, which means that his goals against will be lower because almost a quarter of the games he played, the other team didn't score goals. So that's just something to think about. He had a very good playoff run, but it was not stellar. I don't think it was great, but not impressive. Stamkos would have been my playoff MVP definitely. He led the team in both goals and assists, meaning he also led the team in total points. Drouin was second, Kucherov was third, Earn was third or fourth while having a +9, so he was a good defensive player too, even though Kucherov was only an even, which is interesting because both of his line mates were at least a +4. Carter continued his subpar season with a subpar playoffs. Broussard continues to be a solid contributor. McDonough had 11 assists, run by Pallet, all these guys. Hedman had 4 assists in the whole playoffs, but I want to look at his plus-minus. It was only a +5, so he didn't have a great playoff run, but we won a Stanley Cup in the end. Kunik scored 3 huge goals for us, and everyone had at least 2 points. So every 11 games, everyone on the team would have scored, which is good. So that's our playoff run. I want to analyze the whole roster, everything right now. The key players, basically, not the whole roster. I'm going to go over Mark Barberio. We'll go by overall. So Stamkos is 92 overall after he finished all his progressions. 5-star in all the offensive categories, as well as 5-star in skating. 4.5 defensive, and 4 physical. The thing that probably brings that down is the fighting skills. Pretty low compared to the rest of them. Otherwise, probably 4.5 star. He was a point-a-game player in this season, but before that had 3 terrible seasons. This season was good when we won the Stanley Cup. This season was the season where no one was doing anything on offense. This was Drouin's rookie year when we demoted Stamkos 2 or 3 times, and he finished the season hot. That's the only reason he had 67 points. And then in the playoff runs, he was great every year. Almost a point a game in these 2 years, and then more than a point a game this year with a +9 and a +6 in the years we won the Cup. Jeff Carter was a great midseason acquisition in the second year. He had 53, 54, and 47-point seasons, even though a lot of this season that I'm highlighting right now is with the LA Kings. And as well as, the only thing that he had, what I was getting at was a plus, but he was a minus player each of these 2 years that he was with us full time. He was not a playoff performer by any means, but he did have a better year this year than he had last year when we got knocked out in the second round. McDonough was one of the better pickups we made in the first year that really probably propelled us to the Stanley Cup that year. He's had more than 40 points in the 3 seasons we made the playoffs, and then this year was very disappointing. But the team as a whole was disappointing that year. And then in the playoffs, he continued solid production. Both years we won the Cup, and decent production this year. Not a top 2 type production. But they don't portray top 2 defensemen very realistically in this game. That's one of the things that I don't like is defensemen rarely score. Drouin had an excellent second year after his rookie season. He only had 56 points, but he was a rookie. So Jonathan Drouin had 64 assists this year. I want to look at his shooting. He did take a lot of shots. So it wasn't like he was just not scoring. It was not like he wasn't trying, but he wasn't just scoring. He was more the playmaker anyway. And he had excellent playoff runs both of these seasons. I believe he was playing top line this year because we made Stamkos and him top line in the playoffs. But he was playing top line this year definitely and was a +7. and is a plus 20 minus 515, a plus 22 in his career, which is very solid. Nikita Kucherov started out this franchise as a second-line playmaker who I didn't think would really go anywhere, but when we picked up Jeff Carter, he became probably our fourth best player in terms of offensive output. He had 40 points this season, 62 in the year where we all sucked. I believe that was like second on the team. Second or third on the team. I think it was third. And then he had kind of a step-back year this year when he was still getting used to playing with Derek Brassard when we put him on the line with him. 62 points this year. That was excellent for a second-liner. And both years we won the Cup, he had great playoff numbers. He had a semi-decent playoff run here, more of a third-line type playoff run. But Victor Hedman, one of the two cornerstones I wanted to build this team around when this franchise started out, had three great years for a more defensive two-way defenseman than anything else. In terms of plus-minus, he had a great year this year, but not in terms of offensive output. Still kind of irritated that he never blossomed into a top two, even though he had 42 points this year and was a plus 21, and also won a Stanley Cup. I don't know what the game, and why he'll be a top two, I'm guaranteeing, in next year's game anyway, but why he didn't turn into one in this game at an 87 overall is beyond me. Still one of the best defensemen in the league. Whoops. And, you know, he had, like, over 20 assists every season. This year he had 37 points and scored 10 goals, which would be a career high in this theoretical. And he didn't have he had a decent playoff run this year, but this year he didn't, and the current year we just finished, he had a terrible playoff run. So I don't know, it's kind of like a Hedman regression type of thing. David Rundby was picked up mid-season, had a solid year for us as a second-line offensive defenseman, and had a good playoff run playing second-line for us. 8 points, really good, plus 7, which is good for a man of his caliber, especially considering that he's a lot better defensively in this game than he is in real life, but he's not a very physical defenseman. Adam Aaron was a breakout candidate for us this season. He's had 68 points, including, I believe, he led the team or co-led the team in goals after he was a third liner all last year. We really gave him a promotion this year, bumping him right up to the first line with Stamkos and Drouin. He was picked in the second round the same year Drouin was, so, friends till the end, I guess, right? I went to the next player on accident. As far as playoff runs, he had an excellent playoff run both years for a two-way forward. I'm very happy with Adam Aaron, very good value. Anyone else? Radko Gudas. Korbov's really got higher overall. Radko Gudas was another player that I was intent on keeping from the beginning, and he had solid seasons in the first and last year of this franchise. He had 17 points and a plus 16. He was a minus 17 this season, but 15 points the next year. He went back to even, and now he's a plus 12. So in the end, he ended up at a plus 11 in this series, showing the good defense that we had. And was a plus 16 in our first playoff run and a plus 5 in this playoff run. I'm very happy with him. He's one of the better players on the team in real life, but still making solid contributions in this. Derek Brassard we acquired this season, but I don't really consider him a member of the team until 2014-15. He played third line all of this year, I'm pretty sure, and put out 41 points. And then we put him on the second line the next year after we demoted Wayne Simmons to third line duties after he was underperforming. And he took a few points away from Kucherov at first, but had better seasons, I think, because of playing with Jeff Carter and Nikita Kucherov. I think it worked out better for them in the end. I also believe he was with Stamkos on the power play. And in the first playoff run and the last playoff run had solid output, and he had a really good, quiet 4 goals in the middle year. Wayne Simmons had a good first season when we acquired him, and then did nothing after that. We acquired him this year. We traded Ryan Callahan for him, and I think a second-round pick. I'm not sure. And then this year he was on the second line, and I think he dragged down the second line. Well, no, he was on the third line this year. He dragged down the second line the year before that because he didn't do a lot after we got him. And then he played all the third line both of these 2 years, and he's been really going down. So it was a really disappointing transaction, but it was probably better than anything Callahan would have done. For third liner, had a very good playoff run this season. Let's keep going. Barberio. Pallet was a huge disappointment. I pictured him as being one of our cornerstone pieces, and he ended up being a third liner. Which, third line production. If he gave you almost 30 points, so that's I guess good, decent at best. Decent playoff run for a third liner. Good playoff run the first year. Kind of disappointed in everything happening. Connor McDavid never quite ended up cracking the team. So not much to say about him. He would have been excellent if we kept going with the series, though. Tyler Johnson's story has went from bad to worse to just awful at the end. He only had 34 points and didn't progress at all throughout this franchise, and really tanked the year that we were bad and never quite recovered back to the 30. I would have been fine with 30 points, but he didn't even crack 25 the next two seasons. Very disappointed in him in the end. I was really looking forward to him too, because he was one of the best players on the team in real life. I think that's the last of the major guys that I was going to cover. Yep, it's all our minor league guys now. We'll go actually to Punanov's and see how well this trade works out. So he did drop from 5 green to 5 yellow stars, but the only thing I was ever concerned about when I acquired him was, one is 5-hole, but he could just be like Roberto Luongo, and his poke check, but he ended up proving me wrong by winning more than 40 games in both of these seasons. His goals against average was a little high for a 95 overall, but still excellent, and he had a save percentage. He just improved in the second year, besides the shutouts, which is really surprising because his overall didn't change at all. And he had a bad playoff run this year because our team underperformed, but he had decent stats for a playoff run, and then this was a good playoff run. I don't know if he deserved Conn Smythe or not, but going back and looking back on that trade, I think that we definitely won it only because we won a Stanley Cup out of it. So, in the end, I think that the Patrick Kane trade with Chicago was worth it because we dumped enough salary to be able to end up winning a Stanley Cup by being able to re-sign Stamkos, signing Jeff Green, and then trading him for David Rundblad, someone who helped us win the Stanley Cup. And just having financial flexibility from that trade, even though we didn't end up with Patrick Kane in the end and we dumped him to Buffalo. I'm really sad. I really think that the trades we made in this, the only thing that I don't really like, in the end looking back is the lack of the rookies that performed in real life not doing any good for us in this franchise. Someone really, I didn't cover Patrick Bersiak's fall from grace. He had 26 points in the first year with us, and then sucked that year, and never played in the NHL ever again, even though he had 9 points in the playoffs. He has a Stanley Cup ring to show for it, though. And it's kind of weird that the team got that good that someone who was an 82 overall at the time couldn't crack it. It's always a strange thing when something like that happens, but as for players we never got to see come up through the pipeline that I was very looking forward to, Connor McDavid missed it by just a year. Sam Bennett missed it by probably 2 years. I was really looking forward to him. Ristolainen, I was surprised got up that high. Nemesnikov was someone who also did very little progression throughout this, as well as Marchessault. The only ones that I was really looking forward to that progressed well was Mark Barberio, and he didn't even end up doing anything for me in the playoffs. Although, if you look at it, he did play, I believe, last year too. No, yeah, he did play last year, and he had a better year this year. But his playoff run was his playoff stats were terrible. He has 4 points in 33 career playoff games. Anyway, that's enough for individual wrap-up. I want to look at how the team's success was over the 4 years via GM Tracker. So, we'll do franchise analysis. We had 5-star offense, 4.5-star defense, and 5-star goaltending. Top offensive players by the end of this were Steven Stamkos, Jonathan Drouin. It says Dmitry Korobov is, actually. It's funny. Adam Ern, Jeff Carter, Nikita Kucherov, Mason Geertsen, who's in the minors still, Rundblad, McDonough, and Barberio. Top defensive players Greg Chase, Cody Kunig, Jonathan Drouin, Adam Earn, Ryan McDonough, John Urbanek, Victor Hedman, Steven Stamkos, Radko Gudas, and Derek Broussard. This is all GM tasks, GM reputations. We were the top team ranking at the end after May 31st. I guess this was going into the playoffs, or maybe it was to the end of the playoffs. I'm assuming this is also the draft order. No, it's not quite. Our career GM power ranking was second behind only the Pittsburgh Penguins, which is solid, very solid. And in this franchise, we were the only team to win the Stanley Cup besides the Pittsburgh Penguins, who won both years in between. The toughest teams were actually, we cracked the team at number 11, so physicality went up a lot. I believe we were really toward the bottom of this list. We were at an E to start this, so we would have been at least 20th by now standards. I don't remember if I showed that originally, but it was definitely cool to see us get up there, because I didn't think we'd ever get up that high. Personal GM records. We had 57 total goalie shutouts, including 17 this season. We won 53 games this year. It's our most, and our longest win streak was of 8. We made 13 trades. We had 19 offers rejected. 5 made in 1 year. Proposals that boosted our rep were 10, and 22 that lowered it. We achieved 100% reputation, and we had most was 5 phones. We signed Mike Green, who was an 86. We signed 13 free agents total, renewed 47 contracts. We claimed a player off waivers. I don't remember who that was either. That's scouting. Playoff history. How did we earn one? We earned 2 Stanley Cups. Oh, it hasn't. Okay, these stats aren't completely done. I guess it hasn't recognized that we just won one. We won 10 total trophies. I guess that counts individual trophies too, because we have Ben Bishop win a Vezina during this. We advanced to quarterfinals 3 times, semis twice, finals twice, and we also swept 3 rounds, which is good. Power rankings, we had 33 weeks in the top 10, and 5 in the middle 10, and we finished GM power rankings 3 years in the top 10. I'm assuming the one that we didn't was the year that we didn't make the playoffs. We'll do stats last. We've had 4 years. We had 2 successful years and 2 unsuccessful years. And we managed Tampa Bay 4 times. 4 years, rather. In our first contract, which was the first 3 years of this, we got 43 wins in advance to the second round. Second year, we didn't do any of this. And then the third year, we were supposed to get 47 to make the conference finals, but we didn't. I thought that was kind of an unfair thing for him to ask. Whoops. And the second contract, which was this 4th year, we got 46 wins and made it to the playoffs, which was a good. I don't know why that goal. Those two should have been flipped. Our goal should have been to make it to the playoffs in the year 3, and then the other year should have been to make it to the conference finals, but it's whatever. It's not really anything I can do, and that's staff abilities. So, as you can see here, first year, we went 49, 26, and 7. We had 105 total points. We won a President's Trophy. We had 212 goals for and 169 goals against. We won the Stanley Cup. I consider that a fluke year still. I consider this should have been probably season 1, and this should have been season 2. But anyway, we won the Cup in the first year, so this franchise is already a success anyway. In 2014, well, I guess 2014-15, we went 38, 32, and 12 with 88 points. We just barely, I believe, missed the playoffs by the end. I'm not 100% sure if I'm recalling correctly. We had 88 points. We had a minus 13 goal differential. We only scored 192 and gave up 205, which was our most in the franchise, but only by 20, I say, but it seems like a lot more. We actually had the same goal differential this year as we did the first year, I believe. No, never mind. A little less. This is our best. This was our second best goal differential. This was our best, and this is our second best, which is funny because it's 2 years we won the Cup. In this year, we won 50, 28, and 4 for 104 points, 215 goals against, and 174. We were kicked out in the second round by the Buffalo Sabres. who had both Ben Bishop and Patrick Kane, who we had formerly had employed on our team. So I'm not 100% shocked by that. And then this year, we went 53-28-1, 107 points. I believe this is our second President's Trophy. We had 248 goals for, 185 against. And this is the current season we're in, so I don't need to discuss that. Anyways, this has been a wrap to a great series. First real big dabble I've had in NHL in a while. Last time I did anything NHL related was NHL 14 when it first came out, and I did the Dallas Stars GM. I never did anything with that afterwards, though. But there will be a new Dallas Stars GM in the upcoming year. I'm really looking forward to. Thank you guys for all the support on this series. You know, whatever little bit there is counts to me. And always remember, this series is the first NHL series I completed, and the first real in-depth series I completed. I did complete one other series beforehand, but that was the Yankees franchise, and that was only like 9 episodes, I think. No, it was 11 episodes, including the finale. And if you count the perfect game video, I posted 12. So I haven't put that in that playlist, though, so I don't really consider that part of the series. This is the first real in-depth series I completed. I went 4 years with it. You know, this is the series I'm going to remember for years to come. As I do more adventures in NHL, things I want fixed about this game include, if anyone's watched to this point, thank you, by the way. Things that I would like improved in the future, besides gameplay, as far as the simulation engine on its own, is just how quick it is. It's a lot better than it was last year, because it was really slow and you couldn't do GM mode at all. Actually, I was originally going to do a GM mode in NHL 13, but the sim took way too long, so I had to cut it out, and it would have made no sense. So, that's that. If the sim could be a little faster, it'd be awesome. I want to discuss how I will do the Dallas Stars GM mode, now that I have the opportunity to do so. I will be showing the simulation for that, and I don't know whether it'll be a sped up format or what, but I'm going to record while I sim it and then take out like the major things that happen, because I'm planning on having injuries on, so if someone gets injured, I will show who I call up and replace and stuff like that. It's not going to be like a full sim like this, because I'm going to play games in that as well, which was an idea I had here, but I gave up on because the hybrid format I did it in was stupid, and I didn't realize it at the time. I thought it was a good idea. Didn't end up being one, obviously, as I ended up stopping it. But it was an ambitious idea at the time. So this year, I want to do the Dallas Stars one where I actually want to play games. I'll have injuries on at first, but I'll probably turn them off after a while, knowing the way this game is. I usually start with injuries on and then turn it off after a while, because it ends up getting ridiculous, because you'll have to replace, even if you're not playing like a game that day, if someone's out for a day, you have to replace them in all the lines, and then if it's a higher end player that's on a lot of lines, it's a pain in the ass. So I really do like the ambitions that NHL's put forward in the last 2 years, and although I won't be able to share my next-gen experiences with you guys, I'm looking forward to being one of the only YouTube channels that has PS3 be a GM NHL 15. In the final year, I'll be doing stuff on PS3, hopefully. So, that wraps it up. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoy. This has been Tampa Bay Lightning be a GM mode. Done with year 4. Done with the series. Thanks for watching.